This evening, government remembers the Lusignan massacre. New NGO established to improve healthcare in Guyana. Also, we bring you part 2 of our exclusive interview with GAU President Komal Chan. In the region, in St. Lucia, persons are calling for protection for late shift employees. And internationally, Chechnya's leader is accused of masterminding a purge of gay men from the region.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Today is Tuesday, January the 30th, 2018, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Friday marked the 10th anniversary of the Lusignan massacre. The Ministry of Social Protection memorialized the victims of that incident. Wendell Jeffrey was there and filed this report.
On January 26, 2008, 11 persons, most of Indian descent, were murdered in the East Coast Demerara village of Lusignan. The event is known as the Lusignan massacre. Speaking on the 10th anniversary of the incident, Minister of Social Cohesion Dr. George Norton reflected on that fateful day. He reminded the audience that he was long involved with the issue.
But I must let you know that even before I became a minister, as a member of the opposition, I visited this community and interacted with the victim of this unforgivable act that was committed here in this village of Lusignan.
Minister Norton spoke haltingly as he read from his prepared statement.
It's certainly not a pleasant moment for me to stand here before you on an occasion like this.
To him, descriptive adjectives are not sufficient to describe that fateful day.
Describing that event as horrifying is not enough. And even though it's a decade, yet some of us cannot fathom what actually happened on that 26th of January 10 years ago.
Dr. Norton commended the families and neighbors gathered for their exercise of strength in dealing with the aftermath of that dreaded event. The minister said that his government stands in support of the residents of Lusignan.
I want to commend you, especially the relatives again, and the neighborhood in general, for the strength you have exercising, forging ahead with your lives. As the minister responsible for social cohesion, I want to let you know that this ministry stands with you.
PPPC's parliamentarian Bishop Juan Egel has been involved in the commemoration of the massacre for all the 10 years.
I join you here this afternoon like we would have done in the fresh day of your mourning and have stayed with you throughout this journey.
The MP said that of all the 9 previous years, he was very hopeful this year.
But I've come this afternoon a little bit more hopeful than I have been over the last several years, and being hopeful that we will get this together. Our country will learn from this, and like we would have made the statement many times that something like this will never ever happen again.
Prayers were offered by members of a variety of religions, including Imam Shahid Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Niaz Suban was the chair of the program, and he began by listing the names of all the 11 victims of the massacre.
Clarence Thomas was 48 years of age when he died. Vanessa Thomas was 12, his daughter. Ron Thomas was 11, his son. Today they would have been adults. Mohanday Gurdat was 32. Her two sons, Sigo bin Harilal was 10, and Sigo Paul Harilal was 10, and Sigo bin Harilal was 4.
For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Last night, 6 gunmen robbed a home and business in Garden of Eden, East Bank, Demerara. Rong Ji King and his wife Rong Yan Yao were gun-butted as the thieves raided their home. The couple was robbed of jewelry, an undisclosed amount of cash, electronics, a quantity of fish glue, and a blue Toyota pickup truck registration number BSS 5412. Reports indicate that the couple was inside of their house when the perpetrators entered through an open door and held them at gunpoint. The couple was taken to the Diamond Diagnostics Center. They were treated and discharged soon after. Investigations are ongoing. Recently established NGO Save a Life is committed to improving the quality of healthcare in Guyana. More from Wendell Jeffrey.
Our vision is to promote healthcare through selfless service to save a life and facilitate sustained well-being.
That was Dr. Kamela Bimal Suku, the incorporator of the newly launched Save a Life organization.
We, the members of Save a Life, intend to protect, provide, and maintain improved health of our patient population. We intend to facilitate well-being through channeling our services via outreaches to our target populations.
There are medical needs that are left unfulfilled in Guyana. This fact was the catalyst for starting the NGO.
I was involved in a lot of outreaches before myself, Karamola, and others in the audience. And it becomes a challenge when you go out to those regions, especially the outlying regions where there's lack to full healthcare services. One of our goals in Save a Life is not just to do an outreach in an area. We go, we see patients, and then probably go back in a year or two. One of our goals is frequent outreaches.
Dr. Mohamed Karimullah, a director and treasurer with Save a Life, explained another aspect for the need of his organization.
There are people who do not access community health centers for various reasons, such as perception, prejudice, cultural stigma, poverty, old age or youth, disability, lack of transportation, lack of child care facility, lack of some form of support, like having someone accompany them, illegal activities such as drug usage, and lack of a health facility due to remote location.
Another director, Dr. Felicia Findlay, expressed similar sentiments.
We have seen a lot of patients in the hospital which need special attention where they're in the palms but they're not getting the assistance they need, and we think that we can help in that way. Also the hinterland regions, as Dr. Bimal mentioned, there's a lot of times members and even doctors who are out there see things that they can help or they can do or send out, and because of limited resources, they cannot do much.
The organization was formed in October 2017 and have its office in Eccles, East Bank, Demerara. The launch was to bring awareness to the organization and also to increase its membership. They can be contacted at savealifeguyana@outlook.com. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away. We have more news for you after the break. Stay with us. For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating.
What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Welcome back. The Director of Public Prosecutions Chambers has recommended that a Georgetown constable be charged with rape. The perpetrator has been identified as Lance Corporal Clifton Pellew. It is alleged that Pellew had committed statutory rape of a teenage boy who was in police custody last year. Town Clerk Royston King had fired Pellew for, quote, gross misconduct between August 22nd and August 23rd, 2017 at the Regent Street outpost where, quote, you engaged in a sexual act with a juvenile, end quote. Since the rape allegations surfaced, persons have picketed City Hall demanding that Pellew be charged. As was previously reported, Wendell Jeffries sat down for an exclusive interview with Gawu President and opposition parliamentarian Komal Chand. Chand discussed the rift between his union and the PPP, as well as his feelings regarding the current General Secretary of the party. Here is Wendell Jeffrey with part 2 of that interview.
All I'm saying, I will always uphold what we consider in Gawu. The leaders of Gawu, the executive committee of Gawu, and the General Council of Gawu, whatever we consider to be opposition. It might not be common with other people. We have never been an affiliate of the PP. We don't have any, we are not paying them any dues. We are not required by any relationship that we have to go by certain positions.
Last Tuesday, the Guyana Times published a front page story about sugar workers calling for the ousting of the president of the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union President Kumal Chan. Since then, things between the union and the PPP top brass have gotten worse. Chan believes that the former President Barajagdio does not understand sugar workers like he does.
I am so much part of the workers. I understand the culture. I understand the issue. We fought, we improved things. We improved a number of benefits we could talk about.
Chan says that he has been in the union since 1995. According to him, former President Dr. Chedi Jagan invited him to join the parliament in 1992. Back then, there were no problems between the PPP and the union, says Chand.
So when I joined the parliament at Dr. Jagan's invitation in 92, there was no problem all the time. We have a duty because they are the employer. We had met with Mr. Forbes Bonham, Mr. Desmond Hoyt, the president that belongs to the PPP. What else do? Do we abrogate our responsibility to our members and they will shun us? We can't. My side is always the workers' side, and if I were to find any time that I have to deviate from representing what my general counsel and executive committee agreed upon, then the decent thing is for me to then leave my job.
The opposition parliamentarian is not particularly perturbed by the PPP's latest opposition to his union. In fact, the previous administration, despite being led by the PPP, threatened to de-recognize the union.
And you know, the last government, it is so much said now, reminding us about the threat to de-recognize us. So nobody could raise their finger and say, oh, you were not doing this before, now you're doing this. You have to understand that there's a lot of incompetence, which we have been telling the last government, talking about mismanagement.
Chan said that he understands his job as the union's president.
We represent the interests of the workers. We see that their rights are protected. We see their grievances are represented and sorted out. We advance their cause.
Kamal Chan says that this government seems deaf to the plight of the sugar workers. He said that for the last 3 years, the workers got no pay increases, and that has affected the morale of the sugar workers.
Unfortunately, there was a deaf ear since this government came into office. All of that has to do with workers not having the commitment, workers not doing their best. Your agronomic practices were not in order. You were not doing the field work you're supposed to do, because cane is produced in the fields, not in the office.
Seeming willing to establish his knowledge of the sugar industry, Chand said that he was around for a very long time.
I am in Gawu since 1975, when Gawu was not yet recognized as the representative organization of the sugar workers. And I liked it. I find it a way to serve my fellow people. Some people choose the religious road, some people choose other roads, and I found that this was the right road for me. I refused twice to become Minister of Labour, one by Dr. Chedi Jagan in 1992 and one by Mr. Donald Ramutar when he became president.
When I asked the embattled union president what he would like the former president of Guyana, Barajagdio, to do, Mr. Chan said this.
I will ask the leader of the opposition that we need to have unity among the workers in this country, particularly the sugar workers, and that we shouldn't do anything to weaken that unity. Let us do not divide the workers. Let us not weaken their unity.
Then, in a very telling comment, the seasoned union leader seemed to suggest that Mr. Jagdio is employing the old colonialist approach of divide and rule.
This is a weapon colonialism used, whether it's the French, whether the Portuguese, the Englishmen, divide and rule.
The entire interview with the GAU president is on our YouTube page, and I encourage the viewers to find it and listen to it.
You're asking me a lot of searching questions, you know, more than anybody, but that's all right.
For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. If you'd like to see the interview in its entirety, you can find it on our Facebook page. Join us after the break, where we take a look at Guyana, the region, and beyond.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating. Welcome back. And we now take a look at the region. In St. Lucia, the attempted rape at Cassenbass has once again brought to the forefront the issue of safety of hotel employees who work late shifts. HCS News Force has more.
One grocery store worker who lives in the same area where an alleged attempted rape occurred this week says she is concerned about this trend. She also works late shifts and believes that in the absence of a reliable transportation system, it is incumbent on the respective business establishments to ensure that their employees arrive home safely.
Where the staff bus drops the staff, it's not close enough to their house. Most of them have a good bit of walking to do before they can actually reach home, and during that time anything can happen. So I think they should, especially the hotel, other companies that are doing the same thing, they need to look into that, because it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about the safety of the staff.
The young woman says her employer, having recognized the inherent risks, has changed their transportation policy for staff working late shifts.
Now they drop us much closer, well, basically at our home self, so we're safer. We don't have to worry about anything like rape happening, so I think the other company should look into that also.
As a resident of this area, have you ever had encounters with this alleged rapist?
Yes, I have, but not a physical encounter though. It was just like me passing and me recognizing him watching me and me feeling uncomfortable. That's all it has been. But now that I understand what it can lead to, I think it should be looked into.
Despite a stipulated after-hours bus fare rate, only a few bus routes are operational after 11 p.m. Miguel Favory, HTS News Force.
And internationally, Chechnya's leader Ramzan Kadyrov is questioned by the BBC's Sarah Ransford on the region's human rights record. Human rights groups accuse Mr. Kadyrov's security forces of grave abuses, including the kidnap and torture of opponents and gay men.
This is Ramzan Kadyrov, whose security forces are accused of abduction and torture, with gay men among their recent targets. Here in Chechnya, he's greeted like a tsar. We found Ramzan Kadyrov opening a ski resort, though his latest grand project was shrouded in fog. He's spent years clearing these mountains of Islamic extremists. Now, fiercely loyal to President Putin, Ramzan Kadyrov is left to run this Russian republic by his own rules. But I came to challenge Mr. Kadyrov on his human rights record. You know who defends human rights here, he told me. But last year, I met some of the alleged victims.
The pain is awful. You scream. It's terrible torture.
We spoke at a safe house after they fled. This man's one of dozens who say they were beaten and electrocuted in Chechnya, punished for being gay. Now, those investigating serious abuses are being threatened themselves. This was an arson attack against the last human rights group still working in Chechnya. The head of its office there has been arrested, and the group sees all this as a warning.
Kadyrov said human rights groups are enemies. They are enemies of the people. They will not exist here. It's clear that after that anything could happen. It's very dangerous to work in Chechnya now. Very dangerous.
The threat of terrorism is far lower in the Caucasus now, but Ramzan Kadyrov told me he sees a new enemy here.
All those who defend human rights groups and the gays we supposedly have in the Chechen Republic are foreign agents. They've sold out their country, their people, their religion, everything.
His security guards then decided they'd had enough of my questions. They'd come for a celebration after all, reclaiming the mountains after years of conflict.
The show and the glamour here up in the mountains is meant to send the message that Chechnya is safe now, that the days of danger have passed. But the abuses that we've heard about are extremely serious, and they still continue.
Human rights groups warn this is a veneer, and if they're forced out of the Republic, any future victims of abuse will have nowhere left to turn. Sarah Rainsford, BBC News, Chechnya.
Now for your 7-day weather forecast. here's this week's bridge retraction schedule and today's foreign currency exchange rates. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed week.